Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. I can't believe it's another week gone, but here we are again, running with scissors and having fun with all sorts of crafty stuff. And I'm so glad to see a bunch of you here already. And I've got some announcements today and some things I've been working on. I hope that you have all seen the Altenew release today. I'm not going to go over it, but they released a coloring book for watercolor, which is really amazing. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. It's got an outline and a light outline of a whole bunch of different beautiful floral images. We're doing a blog hop today, and you can hop along with that and leave some comments for giveaways, which is awesome. They've got new watercolor brushes, which I'm still working with, so I'm not going to give a review or anything on those yet, but so far so good with them. So those are out today, and they're probably going to go quick. So definitely take a look at that. I did post a video earlier today about caring for brushes, and it really pertains to any kind of regular brush that you're using, not a water brush, but a regular style brush, watercolor brush in particular. It's the same method that I use for my my transom brushes that I really love, that I've been using forever. So awesome. But I hope you guys check that out, so that way when you do get your brushes, because I see some of you have already ordered, you guys are awesome, that you're going to want to prep those brushes. So those are out there. And then of course the beautiful projects with that book. And actually I can show you the book. Let me show you the book. I think. Yes. All right. So I'll show you the book. This is the book, the watercolor book. And when we pop it down in the hands, I'll show you what's inside of it. And I'll show you the projects that I worked on. So that is out today. So definitely check out that hop. Anyway, hello to everyone that is joining. Today we are on to week 2 of our positive vibes set. So we're going to be doing, you hear that? Shaker card. We're going to do a shaker card today. So we're going to have fun with that. And I wanted to tell you that as I'm working through this new concept of the stamp focus and the virtual workshops, I'm kind of adjusting my timing a little bit. So I am actually going to announce today the stamp focus for March. I mean, I know we just started February, but if I can let you guys know as early as possible, that gives you more time to get your stamp set and get signed up for the workshop, ask questions, get your friends to join along as well, and also to do the giveaway. So doing the giveaway last month for a week was just not long enough, so I wanted to make sure I had 2 weeks to do the giveaway. So the giveaway is open, and that link is in the description down below. It's also in the feed here while we're going on. So let me pop over to the announcements. So don't forget, if you are participating in the February stamp focus, get your stamp set, your Altenew Positive Vibes stamp set. We'll be using it today. We used it last week. We've got 2 more weeks here to use it. And then of course we have the virtual workshop, which we will create 3 more cards with, and we'll be using the Altenew metallic watercolors for that. And Joni, your watercolors are on the way. They're going in the mail tomorrow. Let's see. So register for the workshop. That link is down below. I kind of blocked the information in the description below. So there's like a February section, and then now there's a March section to make it easier for you to find that information. And I'm going to start sending that out in my email newsletter. So if you're subscribed to my email newsletter, you'll start getting that info there too. Let's see what else. The Sketch Starter Challenge is open. There are a few entrants. Fantastic. And of course that goes through February 24th, and I'll announce the randomly selected winner on the 25th. So enter as many times as you like, because the more you enter, the more chances to win, since it's a random selection. All right, so the March stamp focus set is Altenew Layered Cupcakes. I really love this set. It is so cute. And we're going to use alcohol markers with this. So if you've been wanting to get a little class on alcohol markers and blending with alcohol markers, and using the the colorless blender, because we'll be using the colorless blender for the projects on this as well. So that's going to give you some tips on how to use that. So we're going to use this for the workshop, and so all month next month we'll be doing cupcake themed cards, and so they're going to be next week. Next month is going to probably be a lot of birthday cards. So if you've been missing out on some birthday cards, next month is definitely a month to participate in. We'll do masculine cards as well, so those are always good to have on hand. This is a great set for masculine cards. All right, so with that, the virtual workshop giveaway is open. Link is down below and also in the discussion here in our chat. So just click on that and go ahead and sign up for the giveaway. The giveaway is for the stamp and die. And then there will be a second prize of the class seat as well. So the first prize also gets a seat in the class. So definitely sign up for that. The more you share it and go out and do all the likes and things that's associated with it, the more entries you will get. So you can revisit that every day and get a new entry every day. You can go out and share it on all sorts of places in social media. You can email it. You can post it on Pinterest, Facebook, all sorts of places to get extra entries. So I encourage you to share the giveaway information. In any of the crafting groups that you're a part of, if they allow you to share that kind of information, share it, okay? So, because of course, the more the merrier. So lastly, of course, I'd like to thank you for supporting me by using my affiliate links when you're shopping. So if you click on those links below and you check out without going to another crafter first, I may receive a small commission on your order. It's at no additional cost to you. That's something that is built in to the system, so you won't pay anything extra, and it helps support my channel and all of this free stuff that I share with you guys. So thank you for that. Yes, there is a die for the cupcake stamps. It's just the cupcake, so it's just a single, and then everything else is, this is a layering stamp, believe it or not. So we'll be doing some stamp layering next month, and we'll be doing all sorts of fun things with that. So let's pop down to my hands, and I will show you guys a couple things. So again, this is next month's stamp focus. So we've got the outline, which we can do a ton of things with, and then we're going to have some different layers that we can work with, all sorts of fantastic sentiments as well. And this curved one, which can be a little tricky. So I'll give you guys some tips on that. And then it is just the single cupcake die on that guy. If you have the stamp set and you don't have the die, of course you can get the die. If you don't want the die, this isn't too hard to fussy cut if you choose to go that route. All right, so that is next month. Pop that under here. There we go. All right, and then this is what went live today with Altenew. So this is the watercolor coloring book. Look at how thick this is. It is actually, I need to go back and change my post. It says it's 50% cotton. I thought it was 100%, but it's only 50% cotton. But it's cold pressed. It's beautiful. It has some texture to it. And so this is an example of a page that has the light inking on it. So you can do a no-line watercolor look. And then here's what it would look like with the black line on it. All right, and then each page has its own little arrangement of flowers and leaves and stems. They're gorgeous. So you will recognize, like, here's the peony, and then it's mixed with another flower set. These are all images that we already know and love from Altenew, just combined in different ways in some cases. And then in other cases, they are singles. So here is the beautiful poppy. And this is, I did the black one already, and this is what I did with the black one, with the black line on it. Gorgeous. Took me forever. If you read my article, I am very seriously like down to earth about how long it took me to do this. It took me forever. Nobody's getting this. It is going in a frame. And I really, really love it. All right, and then the other one that I'm working on is this one here. This is a no-line version, and we've been talking about underpainting lately, right? So I finished the underpainting with this one. I did with the pencils. I finished the underpainting with ultramarine, and now I'm coming back with some different shades of yellow and brown to start working on the flower. This one, just this little bit that I've done on this one has already taken me longer than this one. So I'm taking my time with these, and I'm really loving the process. As you can see, there are just a ton in here. to work on. And there's 24 of them, so 12 different flowers, arrangements, 24 pages, all sorts of fun and exciting artwork that you can work on with your new brushes and with your different mediums. So this one I use the artist watercolors, and this one I use the watercolor pencils. So you can use any of your different mediums with these. Okay, so that's that. Awesome. Okay, let's get down to some business here. Okay, here is today's stamp, or today's card. So I did a Altenew Zoom a couple weeks ago, and I was inspired because we did like this die cut with the flower, and then we had the flower inside and then had the rest of the piece on top of it. And I said, oh, you know what? If we added some acetate, it would make a great shaker card. So I thought I would show you guys today how to do a shaker card that is in a shape instead of in like in the shape of the flower, instead of in just like a circle or square or something like that. Not hard to do. You just need to take your time to line a few things up as you go. So let's get started on this. All right. So we're going to use this sequence from Picket Fence. This is their Gin and Tonic sequence grouping. And I'm pulling in 3 colors that I've been using off and on this month. So remember, this one is the color combo that has the ruby red in it, but we're not going to use the ruby red today, just Coral Bliss, Sunkissed, and Lagoon. All right, and got my positive vibes here, and the sentiment strips 2 stamp set. So we'll pull in a sentiment from that. And you know what, hang on guys, I need to do just a hair of rearranging here. I hope this works. Okay. I got working on a few little things in the room here, and I didn't have my my little stand here to put things on. Okay, so we're going to do some embossing, all sorts of great things. Let's get started. If you are new here today, I'd love for you to shout out and say hello, so we can say hello right back at you. Okay, now I thought about this for a minute, that I could just stamp the flowered image on here. Oh, actually, you know what? I can. I certainly can. This one I did not, because I wasn't sure where I was going with it, so I stamped it separately, and then I decided what I was going to do with it, and then moved on. But we can do it this way. Got it figured out. All right. So it's important then, if we're going to do it this way, that we place things exactly where we want them. So this is the card base. Make sure that you have it opening in the right direction. And we're going to pop this guy right here. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I wasn't going to, but I'm going to add some, this is just temporary adhesive. I use this a lot when I'm doing my photos, because I want to make sure that my card lays flat. But it also works well when you're doing things like this, where you want to make sure, if you're working on a card base or something that's folded, it keeps it nice and flat. All right, so I'm going to put that in place. And I dropped it before I got started here, and I don't know. Oh, it is. Trusty old obsidian black. And I'm going to stamp this down twice. I'm so glad all of you guys were able to join today. Nancy, I saw that you're hanging out until you go get your COVID shot. Hope everything goes well with that. All right, so now this is a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to stamp along. Okay, so now both of these are in like the same place, right? So when I cut this one out, it should work out that it's going to outline this one perfectly. All right, that's the hope. I can leave this in here. All right, so let's talk about some layers. So the theme with my color combos is that you don't really have to always follow this same combo that like the same quad combo that Altenew suggests, right? Because their inks come in groups of 4. You don't have to follow them. And you can create something equally gorgeous if you come up with your own combos. So I'm doing that. I've got Coral Bliss, which is from Tea Party, Sunkissed, which is from Warm and Cozy, and Lagoon, which is from Seashore. All right, so my first stamp here. The layering on this stamp set is super easy. So this first one here, you can see there's a lot of outlines. So as long as you have stamped your outline image first, you're going to get what you're looking for. All right. So Sue, yes. And that's kind of funny that you went outside the box a little bit with your sketches. My next sketch starter, I'm going to go outside the box too and show you guys how I did that. So basically taking a sketch that I had already decided on and then kind of veering outside of that and how I was inspired by it. And that's really the whole idea behind sketches, is that it doesn't have to be exactly what the sketch is. You just need to be inspired by it in some way. All right, so for my stamping here, I'm starting with Sunkissed. I think this is a stamp color that I need to get in the full size because I really use this one a lot. So I know we've had this conversation about full size versus cubes, and I've been using Sunkissed. Well, I mean, I've been using it a lot this month, but in general, I use this color a lot, so I think I'm probably going to get it in the full size. All right, so I'm just going to go back and forth and do both of these at the same time. Actually, I probably really just need to re-ink this. Yeah, Miss Tampa, are you going to join? I hope you play along. Okay, so now I've got Sunkissed. So my second layer I'm going to do in Coral Bliss. Now this is kind of a pretty pink color, but it's going to turn into more of an orange when we put it on top of the Sunkissed. Okay, so A2 this is my next one here. And this is actually the last layer. There's only 2 layers on these. It makes it kind of simple. Now this one too has a lot of edges, so it's easy to line up. Like this little piece here, there's a lot of edges that go around this particular flower. And then this little bud down here lines up. So if you are new to stamp layering like this, this is a really great set. Right. Another thing that I taught earlier this week in one of my Zoom classes was to take the carrier sheet without the stamp on it and lay it over the top. And then you'll really get an idea of how that's supposed to layer, because that black, of course, is just going to pop with the colors underneath. And you'll be like, oh, I see it now. And then when you take your stamp, it makes it so much easier. All right. All right, so Coral Bliss on the second layer here. And so it's not going to be really corally. It's going to be more of a pink color. Super good. Definitely need to re-ink these ink cubes after having used them for so many projects the last few weeks. Right, look at how orange that is. Isn't that gorgeous? We do not have a shade of orange like this in the collection. So mixing your Sunkissed and your Coral Bliss together is going to give you a gorgeous look here. All right. If you guys have been over to the Altenew fan group, you'll see that some folks shared their projects from earlier this week with my Altenew Zoom class. We had such a good time. Oh my goodness. All right, so there you go. That's it for the florals. Then we're going to move into the leaves. And the leaves have actually two parts on this. There's C1 and C2, and then B1 and B2. So we'll do C1, which is the bottom here. And you can do these both at the same time, and B1. So C1 and B1. All right, and again, these are the backgrounds, so they are going to line up. You're going to be able to see the outline really well. But it still takes some concentration. It is so quiet today. There we go. So I'm going to do this in Lagoon. And as you know, Lagoon is the only green that I have with this color combo this month. So if you caught my sketch starter from last week over on the Altenew channel, I'll be posting it here soon. But if you caught it on the Altenew channel, you're going to see that same magic. Oh, and I forgot to condition this. That's okay. All right. So it's pretty kind of funky with the Lagoon, but when we get the second layer on, then there will be a little bit more of a green look that I think you'll really like. All right. So there we go. So as I am working on these layers here, guys, don't forget to hit that like button on these videos. It will help YouTube know that you like this content and that you want to see more of it. So that helps. And it also helps me too to know that, that you like the video. So if you're liking today's broadcast, click that little like button for me. And don't forget that you can share out this as we're live streaming. So if you know somebody that you think might want to join, or you're a part of a group that might want to know about what we're doing over here, click on that share button and share us out. You can share it later too, but it's always fun to get people to pop in live. All right, so now I'm doing C2 and B2, and these again just go right over top, and there are a few little edges that help me line this up. All right, and I've got to ask, now that I see that Teresa has joined us, so Teresa, have you redone your layering from the other day, or did you decide that you liked the way that they turned out the first time? Teresa was in my, she was in my Zoom class. Okay, so I got those lined up. Okay, so here comes the secret sauce. I'm going to use Sunkissed. All right. So grabbing Sunkissed. Now this is kind of along the lines of last week when we were doing that underpainting with the markers. If you haven't seen last week's, go back to it and take a look at it. So basically with dye inks, what this is doing is the orangey yellow is reacting with the green blue. And it's going to make it more green. All right, you see that? But before I'm done, I'm going to actually do another layer of Lagoon over the top of this to make it darker. All right. So there. So now you can see those little dark areas. That is a layer of Sunkissed on the detail with the layer of Lagoon on top of it. There you go. Oh, I'll have to go back and look at that, Teresa. I thought that was still your original one. Shows how much I was paying attention. I'm sorry. All right, so again, on this layer here, Sunkissed. And I am going to do this twice because my Sunkissed really needs to be re-inked. Oh boy, that's a lot of work, Sue. Okay, so adding in a layer of Lagoon on top of that to get us that darker look. Pretty neat trick, right? Okay. These guys back, and that is the end of this stamp set. We're going to grab a sentiment from another set. So I can put that away. We do need the die now. Okay. So I've got my piece of acetate. Do not let me forget to put that on to our shaker card when the time comes. All right. So I need to die cut these guys out. There we go. And because I have them on bigger pieces, I can't run them through my mini blossom, so I have to run them through my Gemini. I will be right back, and you guys talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so there we go. Got our die cut piece. So now see how this is going to fit right over that card base. Because I had them lined up in my Misty, it's going to line up right on my card base and be perfect for our shaker card. Okay, so we're going to need this. We're actually going to cut this piece down into a few littler pieces. And this and this. Okay, so let's get some blending on here. I'm going to use the Sunkissed. All right, so adding some Sunkissed around the edges here just to soften this up a little bit. Yeah, Sue, old school, right? We used to not have any of these dies that you could cut things out with. You were always fussy cutting. Boy, what else? We used to not even have dies at all. I remember when I got my first Big Shot machine. Otherwise, you had to use something like an Ellison machine in a school if you had access to that kind of thing. And they really only had shapes and letters. So there you go. So a little bit of a nice soft blend on that. All right, so like I said, before I forget, I want to get my acetate on the back of this. I have been known to make a shaker card and forget the acetate and end up with shaker bits all over the place. All right. So it's not important that you get it all the way, like, how do I put this? You don't have to make sure that it's sealed all the way. But what I do want to make sure is that I get in all these little crevices that are sticking out here because I don't want them to accidentally get, you know, caught on when when the card's all put together. So to get into all these little spaces is really important. Okay, so I have a piece of acetate here, and I have it sized just big enough to fit over this space. And yes, I did just use my liquid glue. I find that this works great for adhering acetate permanently. It takes just a hair longer to dry, but it works just fine. And I'm going to actually set this aside. Okay. Now, I should mention on my sample here, I heat embossed clear on this, but I totally forgot and didn't have my MISTI set up properly to do this technique. So you could heat emboss your black on here. It makes it pop just a little bit more. So this is going to look a little bit softer because it's not going to have that crisp black line like the heat emboss does. Okay, so this is my card base. I still have it, that temporary adhesive on there so that it can stay closed and not be in the way. Okay, so we are going to start adding our foam adhesive on this guy. Okay. So I have a couple choices. I could just do a simple shaker card like so, right? And put my adhesive strip all the way around like this. And then add my shaker bits inside and call it a day. But this is a really big space, okay? And I'm kind of stingy about using sequins, and this is just way too much for me to have to fill up with sequins. So what I'm going to do is take some extra and kind of outline this loosely. Now, another advantage to doing this is that your shaker bits inside are going to find new paths to follow, and it makes it a little bit more interesting as far as the shaking of the shaker bits is concerned. All right, and I'm just going to trim this exactly here. That's good. All right, so you see how now the shaker bits are only going to go in here, and now I don't have to worry about any of this because this is all going to be covered. So, hello to everybody just joining us. We're working on a shaker card today. I'm only using one layer of foam here, Becca. I don't like to use 2 layers of foam if I don't have to. I use 2 layers of foam when I'm doing like a light kit, like those ones from Pear Blossom Press, because the little light piece actually requires 2 layers. But otherwise, I'm a single layer person as well. I don't do 2 layers. And I'm glad I can be your hero. All right. So I've got my shaker stuff. Now that was enough time really to get this dry enough to apply onto our card. Okay. So this is where you need to take just a little bit of time. I always put my shaker insides in first before I take off my backings. Okay. And then very carefully, I'm going to hold this side down while I pull off these little backings. You don't want to upset your card once you've got the insides in there, because if it bounces, all of a sudden you've got sequins stuck to your foam strips. And that can be a real nightmare. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to pull off these outside ones. And of course, the outside ones here are just for support. just to make sure, because we're putting a whole card front over this. It's just for support. I could have done just some little squares or whatever, but it was easier. No, I don't do the anti-static on the acetate. Well, I can't say no. Sometimes it depends on how dry it is in the house. Today, I don't need to. Now, I feel like maybe I don't have enough stuff in here. I'm going to add just a little bit more, which is exactly what I told you never to do after you already have your backings off of your foam. There, I feel like that's better. Okay. So now, very carefully, and actually I'm going to kind of stand up and do this. There you go. So I would have had to put so much more of this in here if I was filling this whole thing up. But look, now I've got quite a bit in there. And you know, the nice thing about doing the single layer is that they get stuck like this. And I like that because then it's not always just falling to the bottom. I like kind of having it kind of stuck along the image. It makes it look a little bit more like there's some movement going on all the time. All right. There you go. Miss Tampa, I was holding my breath too. That's awesome. Oh, I love you guys. Okay. So we're still going to use these. And now let's cut up our second image. All right, so we did make 2 images for a reason. Now I could just put the second one here. It's too plain that way. Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes I do the same thing. I glue a few inside so that they don't all fall down. And actually, I did that on this one. I glued a few inside and I decided it wasn't necessary for this one. But sometimes, yeah, that's nice to glue a few that aren't going to ever move, which is kind of nice. Okay, so I want this big flower here. I'm just going to fussy cut this along the edge of the flower. You know, sometimes when you're die cutting, you don't get your die cut perfectly in place, and people don't necessarily notice that. So it's okay when you're fussy cutting. You see how I fussy cut right along the edge there? Sometimes that happens when you're die cutting. So when you fussy cut, if you wanted to take apart an image like that, it's okay to do that kind of thing. All right. So then I want to cut off this little bloom here. I'm going to put this down in the corner. So again, when I fussy cut, I'm actually moving the image usually, and right now I should probably be going the other direction so I can see where I'm actually cutting. But that's okay. All right, so I've got this piece, and I've got this piece, I've got this piece. So now I have 3 flower bits. And I thought, oh, maybe I could have just left these 2 together. But the nice thing about cutting these is that I can move this one down a little bit and kind of tilt it if I want. And then this one can get popped up over it, right? Sounds like you guys are all interested in making shaker cards. Yeah, so this is, I don't know if this is necessarily advanced because it's got the die cut on it. It's just different. It takes, you know, a little bit of time. Be patient with it. But I like the look. I really do. Shaker cards don't just have to be circles or squares or the whole front of a card. I mean, look at all this over here that just doesn't even have anything shakery in it. Okay, so then I'm going to take this other little bud. And that looks really nice on its own here. All right, and then this guy, I'm going to pop up with some foam dots. Yeah, you can do this technique with any die cut shape. you know, even if it's, I've seen some really cool ones with like geometric backgrounds where you can block off different sections of the geometrics and put in different kinds of sequins and things like that. That's a really cool look too. Okay, so by cutting these two apart, I've allowed myself to not only turn this little piece here, but to be able to pop this guy up and put him wherever I want him. I think maybe over a little more. So now I've got beautiful flowers up front. I've got my flowers back behind here with my shaker. Right, very cool. Now we need a sentiment. Okay. I just flung my die across the room. Oh, I'm going to need this. I need to trim this down. Oh, no, I need score. I had a piece of. This is why I always save my strips. I have a little tray that I keep all of my paper strips in. Comes in handy. Okay. Super teeny tiny strip. And on my sample, I did Sending Healing Hugs. I love these sentiment strips. They've got so many different good sentiments. I'm going to do I Knew You Could Do It. We'll see. All right, so if you guys do a shaker card this week, share it. Tag me at Pixel Mavens Retreat on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. You share it in the Altenew fan group. You can tag me there too. Let people know where you learned this great technique. All right. That turned out good. All right, so I saw some new folks join tonight. Penny, I'm glad to see you're back with us again this week. Linda, welcome. Anyone else new out there? If this is your first time with us, or if this is your first time that you feel like not lurking, let us know who you are. We're a great group. We have a lot of fun every week here, doing some great crafting together. So this stamp set is called Positive Vibes from Altenew. Well, not this stamp set, but the floral stamp set. And we are using it all month. So we used it last week. We're using it again this week. We're using it next week and the week after. And then I do have a virtual private workshop where we all get to see each other face to face and spend about 90 minutes crafting together. We have a great time. We did our first one last month and we had such an awesome time. All right, so just snip that down. Now, it is going to go across this flower here, which is popped up already, right? And I don't want it to like die off the edge there. So what I'm going to do is take some of this foam and cut a little strip of this. Let's see, where do I need to go to? All right. So now I just have foam on half of it. And then I'm going to add some glue on the other side. And then we can pop this in place. All right. So I'll tell you what. The first person that posts a shaker card on social media. It can be in the Altenew fan group. It can be out on a public Facebook group. I belong to Stamp Junkies, if you belong to that one. If you post it on your Instagram and you tag me at Pixel Maven's Retreat, and I'll type it in here. The first person, and I'll check the timestamp on it to see like when you did it, I will send you this card. So make a shaker card, guys. I don't care where you live. I'll send it overseas. I'll send it wherever you are. But my you can just do at that, or at you can tag me on like Stamp Junkies or the Altenew fan group. All right. So, first person, and I'll only know if you tag me. You've got to tag me, so that way I will get like a little notice that says, "Hey, someone tagged you." Blah blah blah. All right. Maybe Linda will make another one. Okay, guys. So there you go. Shaker card, and I mean, we gabbed for a while, right? And we talked about some new Altenew stuff, and we talked about next month's stamp focus and all sorts of things. So really this card took maybe 30 minutes to make because we're sitting at 4:45. So really, shaker cards are not hard to do. We stamped 2 stamps here. We did a really cool die cut on this, some ink blending. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's put, we can put some sequins on here, right? So I like to do them in groups of 3, and I'm just going to kind of mimic what I did before because it looks really nice that way. So just grab some sequins here. Let's see, there's all sorts of great sequins in these picket fence mixes. This particular mix has these really cool iridescents. And it also has like little white circles. It's got big and small ones. Some of them don't even have the center to them removed. So like this one here. Come here. See, it's just like a little saucer. They're so cute. And this card is really done. Yeah, so when you tag me, if you put like the @ symbol and the person's name, like in Facebook, it'll just start. That helps Facebook know that you're trying to tag someone, and it'll find me in there. You don't really have to. If you just start typing in Nicole, you'll find my face, and you can just use that. But the @ symbol is helpful. All right. Well, Penny's going to work, so see you later, Penny. Glad you stopped in. And Linda's going to make a new card, so I hope we get to see a really cool project there. Teresa, you do too know how to tag. You tagged me in Facebook earlier. Did you not? When you tagged your project from our class? I think you did. There we go. You can use the hashtag as well. If you want to use a hashtag, let me type in a couple hashtags you can use that will find me as well. There's all sorts of ways that you can find people. So here we go. You can use hashtag Pixel Maven's Retreat. You can use hashtag Stamp Focus. I look for that one. Hashtag Running with Scissors. Any of those will work. All right, guys. So, oh, there you go. It's such a good time with you guys. Don't forget about all the great things we have going on. So new Stamp Focus giveaway, share. Please share. The Stamp Focus virtual workshop for February with this stamp set is still open. I still have a few seats left. So if you want to get in on that workshop where we have fun face-to-face, great time together, and we'll be using the Altenew metallic watercolors. You definitely want to sign up for that. And what else? The giveaway. Oh, and the sketch challenge. Don't forget to check out the sketch challenge. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Yes, please do catch the replay if you haven't caught it all. Share this out with your friends. Invite them to come craft with us every week here on my channel here on YouTube. We are running with scissors every Thursday. So I hope to see you back here again next Thursday. And until then, I will be on the lookout for some great shaker card projects so I can send this card out to somebody. And I will talk to you guys all soon. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay crafty, and bye.